Hello and welcome to the next installment of Dwelling Live for the Traccia Community Association. In this video we're going to be taking an in-depth look at how to manage your guest list through the online portal. And as a quick reminder, you can access Dwelling Live from any internet-connected web browser as well as the smartphone apps available for iPhone and Android. So please check those out. So if we look at our account home screen, we can see here the guests area. We don't have any guests on our guest list at the moment, but we can change that by coming up here to the upper right hand section of your screen just below the gray bar, and we have a series of options here for add guest, add party, restrict guest, and guest history. Just a quick note, the guest history option is so that you can go back and look at the dates and times that your guests have entered the property. Since we don't have any guests on the list here and none of them made any entries, there's not going to be any guest history, but you do have that option there if you want to check on to see when your dog walker or housekeeper came to the property. You can find that information under the guest history section. So let's go ahead and add a guest. This will take us to the Add Guest page. And just to highlight here, we have a few options. There's temporary, permanent guests, and party attendees. Party attendee will come into play a little bit later when we look at party lists. Since we don't have a party list right now, this option isn't going to help us. So what we have to decide is whether our guest is a temporary or permanent guest. So a temporary guest is, you have somebody coming over for dinner, you have a contractor coming to fix your air conditioning unit, they need access for a day or a couple of days, and you don't expect them to come back. Permanent guests are going to be for the people that are frequent visitors to your home. They could be friends, relatives, contractors like your landscaper or housekeeper or something like that. So we're going to go ahead and add a temporary guest. And we're going to have to come down here and select the pass type. You have two options, guest or vendor. It would be generally pretty self-explanatory. Guests are people that are coming typically for social purposes, their friends, family, co-workers, those kinds of things. And vendors are going to be the contractors and service providers that are coming to do work at your home. Those could be electricians, painters, housekeepers, cable company, those types of service providers. So let's go ahead and add a guest. Now, just as a note, something to assist you to make sure that your guests are afforded access in a quick and efficient manner. We do ask, or we do require, that you put in a first and a last name. And one of the things that we would like you to do, if possible, is put the name of your guest into the system the way it would appear on that person's driver's license or photo ID. So Traccia does require photo ID in order to admit all of their guests, and if the name on the photo ID matches the name as it's written on the guest list, it just makes the whole process a lot quicker and more efficient, and it prevents security from having to unnecessarily call you because they can't match up your guest's name to their driver's license. So again, as best as you can, if you know your guest's proper given name as it appears on their license, that would be very helpful. Avoid nicknames whenever you can. So let's just say John Smith is coming to visit. There's no company, there's no email. The email field is not used for our system, so you could ignore that area. Notes for attendant. If you want to add some additional information, say for example, John is my brother-in-law, you can put a little note in there, and security will be able to see that when they check in your guest. The next item to look at is the start and end date of the guest authorization. So the system automatically defaults to the day, today's date. So today is the 17th of May. If your guest is coming that day, that's fine. But what you can do is you can also go ahead and enter your guest and set the entry date for sometime in the future. So maybe John's not coming until next week or the following Monday. So I can go ahead and put him in for the 25th. And if he's just coming for that day, that's fine. If he's going to be there for the week, I can put him in for the entire week, Monday through Friday. You can add your temporary guests for up to a 30-day period. So if it's a friend from out of town or they're coming to stay with you, you can just go ahead and put them in for 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, and their name will remain on your list for that period of time. So there we go. We've added our friend to the list, and we've put him on there for just about 30 days. So anytime John shows up during this date range, he just needs to provide his identification, and security will process a pass for him and grant him access to the community. So let's look at the vendor pass. So because this is sometimes going to be a little bit different way of entering, putting somebody on your admittance list. So let's say your garbage disposal stops working, and you need to call a plumber. So you don't necessarily know the name of the plumber that's going to be coming out there, or the name of the technician that's coming. So you want to put in the company name, but we have to fill in both the first name and last name fields in order to add a guest. So what we can do is we can just go ahead and put in the name of the plumbing company, and break that up under first name and last name, and then here under the company field we can add it again. As you can see, it's been put in before. If you want to put in some notes for the attendant, you can do that. And then what you can do is, again, here we have the date defaults to today's date. So if the plumber is coming today, that's fine. If the plumber isn't coming, say, until the following day, or say the next business day, which would be Monday, and then maybe, let's say, the plumber needs 3 days potentially in order to fix the issue, you can go ahead and put them in for the subsequent 3 days. And then there you go. Now you see your guest who's going to be coming in a couple of weeks, and there you have the entry for the plumber who's coming out to fix your garbage disposal. So let's go ahead and look at some of the other options. We also have permanent guests. So permanent guests are people who are going to be, you expect to come to your home on a regular routine basis. They can be dog walkers, they can be babysitters, housekeepers, close relatives, friends who live in the area. People are going to be coming and going on an ongoing basis, and you don't want to have to keep adding them to your list, and you don't want security to have to call you in order to admit them to the community. So you can go ahead and select permanent guest, select the guest pass, put in the name of the individual as best as you know how it would appear on their identification. And again, you can skip company and email, and there's no date range because this is a permanent guest. There's no date range to add there, and then that person's going to be put on your permanent guest list. Now, another option you have for the permanent guest is for a vendor. So let's say you have a housekeeper. So let's say Gretchen is your housekeeper. She's been working for you for a number of years, and she comes to your home every Monday and Thursday, and should not be coming to your house any other day. So you want to restrict your housekeeper's access to just those 2 days of the week. So we've selected permanent guest, we've selected vendor, we've put in the name of the vendor, and under company a description of the function that person performs. And then here under days permitted, what we're going to go ahead and do is right now all 7 days are checked. We're going to uncheck Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. We're just going to leave the 2 days that Gretchen is allowed to enter the community, come to my property, and click Save. And so now your housekeeper's on the permanent list with a notation there that she's only allowed to come in on Mondays and Thursdays. Now, let's go ahead and have a look at the party function. So this is if you're having an event at your house, you're having a dinner party or a birthday party, graduation party, you're expecting a lot of people to be coming. What you can do is go ahead and you can enter a party list. You can enter up to a total of 50 names. If you have more than 50 guests coming, then we would like you to contact the management company and make arrangements with them to have your guests put on the list. But what you can go ahead and do is give your party a title. So let's say you're having a wine tasting, and that's going to be on Saturday night. It's a new party list. We haven't had one before. And then what you can go ahead and do is just start typing in the names of your guests. And you can continue in that fashion, and then when you're done entering all of your guest names, click Save. And you'll see now here that all of those names, all of those guests that we entered are now on your guest list. The date of the event is listed here, and you can see the icon indicating that it's for a party list. Now, let's say, for example, you've put your party list in and you realize that you forgot someone. You can go ahead and come back here to Add Guest. Select Party Attendee. Notice that the screen will change. You go ahead and enter the guest's name. And select the party list that you want that guest to be added to. And then here we go. See, here's guest 4 has been added to your party list. Now, one of the nice things about this feature is if you... Oh, pardon? That's the wrong one. If you have a regular event, so let's say that you do a wine tasting every fourth Saturday out of the month. What you can go ahead and do is come down here under Add Party List, Party Guests, click Use Previous Party List, check the drop-down menu, and you will see all of the previous party lists that you've entered in the past. So you can go ahead and just click your wine tasting list. You'll see all of your guests are there. If you have the opportunity here, you can remove someone if they're no longer part of the group, or you can add an additional guest if you've added more people to the group. And then you just have to come up here to the top menu and set the date. So if we want the 4th Friday, and when we're done, just click Save. And there you go. Now you have your party list has been added for the 4th Saturday in May and the 4th Saturday in June. And you can continue doing that as many times as you need to. So that's a basic overview of managing your guest lists in dwellingLIVE. Again, if you have any questions that we haven't answered, feel free to contact the management company, and we'd be happy to provide you with assistance or record a new video that explains additional features for the dwellingLIVE system. So hope you enjoyed the video. Keep your eyes out for subsequent episodes, which will take a deeper look at the dwellingLIVE system and how to use it.